everybody. Welcome back to the first Tale of Four Gamers of 2024. Yeah, I know, scary, right? So it's been a productive week. I've had a productive week. How's everyone else doing?
I haven't had a productive week.
You haven't had a productive week? Oh no.
No. Well, I did play a lot. Of toys with.
Yeah, we've done some Toy Soldier playing this week. So we're recording this on New Year's Eve, so we're going to count this as the January update. That's what we're going to do from now on, because we've got a bit of a quandary we've been talking about for a few months, and it's just all happened at once. So what we're going to do now is we're going to do monthly updates like always, except at least for the first few months of this year, it might just be whatever games we happen to be playing, because we're all doing Legions Imperialis, which will be the focus of this month. And then we're about to all be doing the old world from next month onwards. So I think we'll probably be doing both of them again. Just so if you didn't know, if you've not been involved in one of the Tale of Four Gamers before, this is Tale of Four Gamers. We are the Four Gamers. We build armies over a certain number of months. And part of the fun of that is that you can too. We have a Patreon. The Patreon has a community update section. There is a Discord, which means you can post photos of the armies you're building and you can build along with us. And usually we try and build them with some sort of end date or event in mind. We haven't set anything for these two yet because we don't know what we're doing yet. But yeah, we've all got some progress. We've all been having a look at the rules. We've all been building some models. So yeah. So if you want to get involved, then the link to the Patreon is below. You can find your way to the Discord through that, and then you can join in with everything we're doing. But yeah, so one of the two games we have been talking about for months and waiting for is out. Legions Imperialis is out, and we've all been doing things. There you are, Bobbie. Bobbie has a Legions Imperialis book that she just put down as a cut to her, but it's fine.
Do you want I'll bring it back.
There we are. Back down again. So we've got Legions Imperialis. Did we all buy the box set? I realised I wasn't meant to buy the box set, right? And then I accidentally did.
Yeah.
I think we all did, yeah.
Yeah, so we've all got the box set. And
I knew I was meant to, and I did.
Right, I think, Gary, did we have some deal where I was going to take your Solar Auxilia and then I stupidly bought a box?
So we were going to do a trade for a kill team, and then you forgot, you bought your own box. And then, but that was handy because Nathan wanted to do a trade as well. So I traded with Nathan.
And I traded with Russ.
Yeah.
So I've got double Solar Auxilia, and Nathan's got something like triple Solar Auxilia.
I also traded my Solar Auxilia to Nathan for some planes, which he had from Aeronautica. So it all works out.
It all worked out. We've all got a load of models, basically. It seems like there's a bit of delay. There might be a bit of delay on the rest of the stuff coming out because Old World might crash into it. So there's this weird thing where, like, the box, I think, sold out really quickly, and then there's loads of models slated for release, but none of them have even vaguely been released yet. Are you, Bobbie, you're waiting on a load of stuff, right?
Yeah, I mean, I'm likely to. I've been really getting into this game, so I will likely buy all the Space Marine stuff that they can give me. Due to the release schedule, there's like a weird meta in the game at the moment where the Marines are missing loads of stuff. The Solar Auxiliary are missing loads of stuff as well, and I think it's slightly warping armies. Like the Solar Auxiliary having only Arvus Lighters as a transport, it's making the armies really weird. And same with Marines, like they don't really have any anti-tank units really.
No anti-flyers.
You're forced to charge tanks and punch them to death. Seems to be like the main way of dealing with like Malcadors and Liam Russes, but hopefully we'll see the rest of the units for the armies turning up at some point.
You and Russ have both been looking at the rules quite a lot, right? Particularly because Russ has it on his other channel, where he's been talking about Epic quite a lot. Does it feel like it's vaguely similar to some of the old systems?
Well, I think Russ knows the older systems a little bit better than I do. I like that the core rules seem really good. There's a few abilities like Rend that are possibly a little bit good for how they're pointed, but I think a lot of the problems can be fixed with just points balancing, maybe some FA keys. We've already had one which fixed engine killer mostly, so you can kill like Malcadors with Titan killing weapons rather than just doing one wound to them. So yeah, there's. I think it's got really good potential. Games Workshop just needs to pull a finger out and give us Land Raiders, damn it.
What was your verdict, Russ? You've actually played Epic quite a lot recently.
So yeah, I played a lot of Net Epic, but I've been frustratingly busy when it comes to actually getting enough built to play any Imperialis. But having had a look at it, it feels like it's the same game, but a much more recent version of the same game.
Yeah.
So it does feel like an evolution. I need to actually sit down and do some more videos to talk about the Auxilia. But in terms of having looked at the Marine stuff, I do think they've got the game right, but the army's possibly wrong.
Okay, in what way?
I think we'll see, like Bobbie said, we'll see more. I think it'll make a big difference for Marines when we finally get drop pods, which we know are coming. But Marines at the moment seem surprisingly static unless you put everything in Storm Eagles or Thunderhawks, which you can't buy at the moment. I've got one, luckily. I wish I'd bought two straight away. You can deep strike Terminators, but when it comes to actually moving around the board, Rhinos will sort of get the job done, but it doesn't feel like we're using even basic complete armies yet.
Yeah.
Like, I feel like there's too many, like Bobbie said, there's too many things missing from each army. It feels like they've taken too much out at the very beginning.
Yeah.
And given us a taste of the game rather than a full game.
And I wonder if that was obviously this was intended to be out like at the end of summer, right? We know that because that's when the preview copies went out. So I assume the intention was to get a load more. There was a load of slots in the release schedule for the rest of this year that have all been missed now. And now the release schedule is full of other things for the rest of the start of this year because Old World's still coming out on schedule. So, I assume that will solve itself as it goes on, but they're probably in a more broken up and incomplete position than they hope to be, even in like it only came out a month ago. I imagine the game would have come out in September, we thought it was September or October, and then by November there would have been stuff, and by December there would have been stuff, and I
feel like there's a good game in there trying to get out. It's just not been revealed yet, and I think that's a real shame because even as an example, and they're not the only ones, but as an example, I watch most of the videos from the guys who do Heresy Hammer.
Yeah,
I'm like, I think would have been a lot more enthusiastic about it if it had come out as it was meant to.
Yeah.
And I think, I think they won't be the only ones. I think they're the obvious ones that I've noticed, but it's such a shame because I think there's people who would have been all over it.
Yeah.
And they can't be because it's not available to enjoy as a whole proper release. And I think that's just going to be made worse by the fact it's now going to overlap with Old World, and people are going to have to make choices between Imperialis and Old World. And I think for most people, Old World will probably win.
Yeah.
And if Legions Imperialis survives, I think it's going to be a much more niche game with much more occasional releases.
But also one of the weird things there is that in theory you wouldn't expect Old World and Imperialis to cross over, but they're both also rehashes of old game systems. So that it's the sort of the same. There's a demographic, like I guess about our age, of people who remember playing Epic and Fantasy. who are actually excited for both. When I imagine usually like 40k and Age of Sigmar wouldn't usually be that much, or like Warcry and Necromunda isn't that much of a crossover.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think certainly there would be less crossover between, say, 40k and Legions Imperialis. Maybe more between 40k and Age of Sigmar, but certainly if you're playing Age of Sigmar, you're probably not interested in Legions Imperialis.
Yeah.
But if you're playing Old World, like it is pretty much, I guess, like the Venn diagram is going to be almost a perfect overlap of people who want to play Old World and people who want to play Legions Imperialis.
Yeah. So it's out. I guess all we can do. The interesting thing is none of us have actually played it yet, right? We haven't played a game.
No.
And partly that's because you do need quite a lot of models assembled to play a game. And I would guess also, as we're all finding later, it's much easier to assemble the models for Legions Imperialis. It's much easier to paint them on the sprue. So there's no bit where people are playing with grey armies to learn the rules, because we're all trying to get them painted before assembling them because of various reasons. They're just a lot easier. Especially the infantry. I mean, I'll probably assemble my tanks and paint them, I guess. That's what I think people have been doing. Yeah. But I've only got like four little stands of
of chaps so far.
Yeah.
Because they're the only ones I've actually
Done.
had time to paint.
So,
the rest of them are still halfway through the process.
So I think it's going to be a bit of a slow burn. I wonder, partly because of that, because people are painting then playing, and secondly because of the release schedule. And I wonder if actually what happens is, I wonder, a bit like Siege of Cathonia for Horus Heresy, I wonder if there's like a major expansion that gets like shoved in after a few months. So you wait till like Old World Hype is out and that's all running, and then in like March or April go, okay, now we're going to do a big book of battles and extras for Imperialis and sort of give it a bit of a kick again.
Hopefully, there'll be like that second wave. There's always already been hints that there's a campaign book with some more units coming, and I'm guessing that's where we're going to see the Land Raiders, the jet bikes, all of those fun things. A lot of new stuff for Solar Auxiliary as well. So
what already shown like 2,000, 3,000 point armies, which are filled of jet bikes and drop pods and stuff which aren't out yet, but I'm guessing they thought by September they would be dropping now.
Because I deliberately didn't buy rhinos because I want drop pods, and I don't want to double up on my expenditure of rhinos I don't need because everything's going to be in drop pods.
But you get rhinos in the box set, right?
We'll see. Say again?
Rhinos are in the box set though, right?
No, that was
no.
Oh, they're just predators. Oh, it's infantry and predators. Yeah, I didn't see it because obviously I just took the Imperial Guard and ignored all the Space Marines, as is only right for Epic. But regardless of all that, we have actually been building our models, which has been quite nice. So what we can do is our updates, and then we have actually got a few community updates in. Only a few, because everyone's starting and we've only just decided what we're doing and it's right at the start of the year. But we do have community updates, so we can start this ball rolling and get back on track. Bobbie, you've done absolutely tons. How's it all going in the Bobbie household?
Yeah, I'm really, really hyped for the game. I really like the miniatures. I really enjoy. There's something about painting the tiny Space Marines that's a lot easier. I don't feel the pressure of painting it like a 28mm model. I feel more pressure on getting the details and the highlights. I don't feel any of that with the small guys. You just get some paint on them, stick on the base, and they look fine.
Yeah, I enjoyed them a lot more than I expected. Like I was looking at them to start with going, oh god, this is going to be a nightmare. And then when you realise it's like one little brush stroke and that's the axe, that'll do. You're like, done. Yeah.
You're not sitting there wet blending a highlight on a sword for hours to just do one sword. Nah, none of that. I mean, I'm sure you could, but I'm not.
Same ones on the group and stuff where people have treated it like a 28mm model. It's crazy. There's people on the heavy metal Facebook group and they're painting lenses in the Space Marine helmets and stuff. What are you doing?
Well, we had that conversation earlier in the week about how to best do our Space Marine symbols on the shoulder pads, because Space Marines look really weird with nothing on the shoulder pads. But Russ has got a good halfway house with Blood Angels. I'm just looking forward to when Gary has to paint tiny little wolf heads on everything.
No, I'm not. Sorry to ruin your day, but that they're getting one shoulder pad will be red and the other will be yellow, and then they're done. You
could do like a little zigzag. That would work. That would be easy.
I could.
Sorry, Bobbie. Yeah, so you've got a bit of a head start, right? Because you've got a bit of you had a load of stuff assembled before.
Yeah, I'd already been playing Titanicus, so I've already got a good healthy maniple of Legio Gryphonicus Titans, a load of Stratus Knights that I painted up as Cold Shroud. So I've got.
No, sorry, you're wrong. You painted them up as Lamenters, Bobbie.
They're very strange.
Well done. That's the correct choice.
Which is just really helpful for army building, because every time I go from 1,000 point, 1,500, 2,000 points, I can always take the biggest support unit that I can.
Yeah.
Which just means I have to paint less other stuff for the moment at least.
Yeah.
I did also do a little bit of terrain, which is very unlike me. I don't usually do terrain.
Yeah, because you don't usually play at home, right?
No, I don't. I don't have a table or anything, but because the buildings are all quite small, quite short, I feel they're way more possible than to. Like, you still need a lot of it to cover a 5x4 or a 6x4. But
it works.
It's
yeah,
not as tall most of the time, so it can go in a box more easily.
Exactly. And yeah, I've just been really enjoying building a little ruined city. But yeah, I ploughed on with the rest of the box. Started off with my Imperial Fists because I've decided I'm just going to do the same Legion because I know how to paint them.
Yeah.
And they're not too bad in this game. They're all right.
And they go with your other yellow units.
Yes. And Gryphonicus and Imperial Fists are like pally lore-wise. They fight alongside each other in quite a lot of the engagements in the Heresy, so that makes sense to me at least. And yeah, they've kind of got all my ground units, all my dreadnoughts, all my tanks have got Imperial Fists. I have actually got some more rhinos than I've put in the picture, just because I don't have space in the picture. That's one thing I had noticed with this game is that it's difficult to take big army photos and get everything in focus.
A few people have said that.
Even more than 28mm. Like, I've been playing around trying to do like photos of a 28mm army, but yeah, they're awkward to photograph. I think I'm gonna have to try a few different setups, see what I can work out for them. I have to get into learn how to do these fancy, take lots of photos and blend them together in Photoshop styles of photography.
That seems like a lot of work, though.
There's a very good video about that on the internet right now.
Yes, yeah, there are definitely some good tutorials, especially miniature focused ones.
Yeah.
So Imperial Fist is just going to be a demi company, and I think I've got most of what I want in there. I think when other heavy weapon options come out, I definitely want more heavy weapons, some las cannons and stuff would be useful. And then I've got White Scars because I wanted to do mixed legions, and that's something you can do in this game. And I wanted to do an air assault company, and who better to do it with than White Scars? I still need to finish painting the planes properly, and I need to make. I think I'm going to do different bases for them because the aeronautical ones are a bit weird. But that's just a 40mm base with a light stand in, because they're magnetized, so I can take them off those and put them on the different ones. So yeah, it honestly took me about a week to paint all of those, because it just, even doing like, there's quite a lot of detail work on the White Scars, doing all their like all the zigzags and weird markings that they do, all the Brotherhood markings and stuff. And I've painted one of the Warhounds from the box as Ignatum rather than Gryphonicus, because Gryphonicus are, they don't really use Warhounds as much. I just wanted to do something a bit different with it as well.
Brilliant.
And I've also been working on mostly finished a set of knights as well.
And then also some Kratos.
I begrudgingly bought a pair of Kratos tanks because you can't play an armored formation without them at the moment.
Right, I see.
You have to take a heavy armor choice, and they are the heavy armor choice. So I'm not a big fan of the design of the Kratos.
I'm not either. I'm not a big fan of the triangle tanks. I don't really like them.
I do. I like the Sicar. I've always liked the Sicarans, and the Kratos are just big Sicarans, aren't they?
Yeah, I don't like the Sicarans either, or the artillery one. Like all the triangle tanks, I'm a bit like meh.
I do.
Tanks are very Horus Heresy, aren't they? They're like what separates them really from 40k.
Yeah, but still.
Yeah, I wasn't the biggest fan of the Sicaran when it first came out, and it's sort of grown on me a little bit. But
I don't own any.
The Kratos is still. I'd rather have a couple of fell blades or something along those lines to leave my armored formation. But
I'm in a similar thing. Like, if I'm going to do epic, I want the big stuff.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so we'll see.
So you want the small, big stuff?
I want the tiny, big stuff. Yeah, I want big stuff. I want to be able to make the really big tanks quickly. Yeah. Russ, you have also been doing a load of Legions painting. What have you been up to?
Well, nowhere near as much as Bobbie, but I decided I wanted all the bases, at least from this first round, to look similar. So I just painted all my bases at once. Right. And I've decided to go down the route of sponge painting most things. Okay. So I've done lots of different shades of grey for bases and buildings. So I've done a lot of grey contrasted, like cold bluish grey, contrasted with lovely warm, bright blood angels. So I've started them off with just blood angels red, but then I've sponged on. Is it Wazdaka? No, Wild Rider Red is the top layer, and Evil Sun Scarlet is the intermediate layer, and it's made them, I think, pop quite a lot. So even though it's two darkish colours, they stand out really well. And then you mentioned I've done their shoulder pads. I got one of these. I've had it for ages, and I didn't like it because the tip is actually too thick for the sort of thing I want to do. But it allows me to put a very precise circle of paint on individual shoulder pads, and then brush stroke it up to a tip to make just an individual white teardrop. And I haven't got wings. It's just not feasible to paint blood drops with wings. But it's got blood drops on every single shoulder pad that way. And it does actually work, I think, quite well. Without being, it's going to be, I'm going to paint everything red first and then go through and just do like 500 dots of these one day. It'll be like I spend an evening just sitting there going dot, brush, dot, brush. And that's the plan. I think it works quite well. So you've seen the pictures of these, and I've put them up on my Instagram already. I think the one thing I kind of want to do, but I think it's just absurd, is to just do a glow around their eyes as well. But I actually think the amount of effort compared to benefit for that is just absurd, so I'm not going to bother. But yeah, I've been doing a lot of making buildings as well. So much like Bobbie, I got a load of stuff, bought loads of stuff from Troublemaker Games, including, I've got sat on the desk in front of me a load of their spires, which are very nice. One thing I've actually done is put white plastic card inside so that I get a solid building rather than having hollow bits anywhere. But I've got loads of their buildings built up as well that I'll I think I've shown you a lot of the photos of them, and they make quite big buildings, nice for Titans to hide behind. Bobbie's done something that I have done with the corner pieces of plasticard and rods to make the ruins look slightly better where the bits join together.
Yeah, so they're all these little panels, aren't they? And it can just end up looking a bit obvious that it's all a repeating panel. Yeah, and just adding a little bit of detail afterwards.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm going to do something similar, but I've run out of corner pieces of styrene. I need to order some off the internet, and I keep forgetting to do it. So I need to actually remember to do that after this. Cool. But the other bit of stuff they sent me, and I need to. I wanted to assemble one before this and hold it up, but I'll try and assemble it in a minute and put a photo for you to edit in. They sent me a couple of their lovely little Gargant models. Right. So what are they called? They're called City Crushers because they made a game as well, and that was done on Kickstarter. And it actually looks like a really fun game. It's basically they're not called Gargants, but they kind of obviously are, I think. So I've got two of them that I can put into my Epic Orc army if and when I ever paint my Epic Orc army. But that's about 10th in the list at the moment, and you know how often things get added to that list at the top. Exactly, yeah. But it's a nice little kit. But the one I do want to talk about is so I painted this. This was sponge painted as well. Yeah. This is so the guy himself is called Keyblams, but he is on Etsy as MSU Terrain. Right. And he does all of this stuff with a cry cut. I think that's what the machine's called, a cry cut. And this also is actually it's like 3 layers of thin styrene that comes partially assembled, and you build the rest of it yourself. But what I've done as well, I've added in a couple of little bits of styrene reinforced bar here. And on the top here, I did just some texture paint on the top of this building and a couple of bits from Zinj of like some vents and stuff. And it actually gives a really nice finish as well. And yeah, let me test out my sponge painting. So that was fun. But the other thing that he does that I definitely want is that he does just platforms, like ground level platforms. So you get, it's like a hill in a way, but it's like a city hill because it's like a raised plaza.
Elevated plaza,
Yeah, that you can put more buildings on. And bridges that look very nice. And then you can include some canals or some rivers. The other thing I did get, and I noticed as I read down, that Gary's made a little note that he couldn't get the spires of from the Civitas Imperialis.
Yeah.
So I went to... the thing is, Gary, you left the event at Hate that we went to, the Horus Heresy event. You left that early.
Yeah.
And I won the raffle at the end of the day and got a box of Civitas Imperialis spires.
Right.
I have built them. This part of me now feels guilty, and maybe I should give them to you if you want to paint them gold to go with the rest of your stuff.
No, I'll manage to get some. I'm pretty sure all this stuff will eventually come back onto the web store. It's just, I think they're really struggling.
Oh, yeah, no, eventually it definitely will. I just didn't know if you wanted them more urgently. But I think all these different kits will work quite well together. I think they all look fine on the same table.
I think having some variety in the terrain will help as well. I've seen a few people who have built terrain boards where it's all just the Games Workshop terrain. And whilst I get that that's sort of a thing in the Imperium, it's, the STC, they have built this building 20 times next to each other on the planet. And it does look a little bit boring.
It does get a bit boring.
Whereas having a mix, I think, will be the way to go for, especially as everyone's playing just in cities at the moment, and we haven't got
no, exactly.
Bring back the rolling green hills and the forests. Yeah.
Well, having said that, I've got these, but even next to these buildings, I think these trees are just a little bit too big. Yeah. So I made these with the intention of putting them alongside the buildings, but I think they're going to look a bit silly. I mean, a tree that's 4 stories tall in real life wouldn't look absurd.
No.
But I think in Epic, they might just not look quite right. I need to... So what I was thinking was, I've already got quite a lot of woods for 28mm fantasy, but I might just make more woods for reasons that will become clear when we talk about the old world a little bit.
And we're all sort of prepping for the old world a bit, aren't we? I mean, we'll get into more of it next month because it's not out.
Well, the trouble is we don't know what to expect yet.
Exactly.
So we don't know.
I keep flipping and flopping. Like I was last week, I was telling Ian I really want to do Tomb Kings.
Yeah.
But night over a pint, I was like, goblins. I want to do goblins.
which we did figure out would probably work better with your Fimmer anyway.
As the extras, because then they could just become trolls or something at the start.
And a lot of the stuff you've already got is quite Orc and Goblin themed.
Yeah.
So
stone throwers as well, even.
And the edge are wolf riders look amazing. Have you seen they've got a really sort of Mongol-y look to them?
No, but I imagine they're a bit Ripper Snarl fantasy, right?
Sorry, Edge of Sigmar have new wolf riders.
Yeah,
sure.
They're like the Snarlfangs from Underworlds, right?
Yeah, fantastic.
Might
have an army of those.
I've still got my 1980s Orc and Goblin army. So when I was a young kid, I started with Orcs and Goblins and then switched to Chaos. And there is a huge part of me is really tempted. I really, really want to do an Orcs army, but I just don't think it's a sensible thing to start because I've already got so much Chaos that I can start playing the game with Chaos and then just drift into other branches of Chaos. Yeah, it's a more sensible approach for me.
And Orc and Goblin armies. I mean, I've tried to build several different 40k Orc armies, and it's so much to paint. It's a lot of brown leather and metal and green skin. So much green skin to paint. It's
part of the reason I started drifting back to it again was the idea of sponge painting orcs might work really well.
Mm.
But I still think it's not the right choice yet.
Yeah.
Even if maybe at some point I could do a small allied force of just orc warriors or something, just to go in with the rest of my Chaos army. If Old World lets us have allies.
Yeah, I think you go too crazy on details, Russell. I think that's why you would struggle with an orc.
Yeah, so there's a load of options there. We'll get into our world a bit more next time because we'll have loads to report. But yeah, it's all in the back of our heads as well. Is what we're going to be doing, how we're going to be combining this with the old world. Gary, you have also been doing terrain though. Everyone's been doing a lot of terrain. I suppose because it's the one game we've not got anything for.
Right. Yeah. So I had the Civitas Imperialis sector from when I was planning to do Titans. But I never actually made any Titans. So I still had the city box. So I thought, right, I'll get started with that. I started clipping it off the sprues before the box came, so I could get a head start on terrain. And I kind of said to myself, I'm not going to touch the Imperialis until my terrain set's done. Like as the sort of reward for getting through the terrain bit. And I think what Bobbie was saying earlier is about how you can transport them quite easily. Most clubs won't have a great deal of that scale terrain, so it'll be good if people bring a box or two each to put on the table. And rolling green hills, there's only so much you could put on the table before it's not that interesting to.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
You've been actually, but the point is, you've been building things.
Yeah. So basically, I built the box that come with the Titans plus the extra box, and I bought the new runes. And I was like, how am I going to paint these? And I figured, well, let's look at where all the Space Wolf battles are, and none of them are on Fenris.
Yeah.
So I was like, the big one is on the Prospero. Which goes really well with what Nathan said, that my tanks look like they're from the Prospero campaign. So I was like, let's make my epic scale terrain Prospero. Been cracking on with that. I sprayed them with Halford's gold, so it's a really sort of shiny, robust gold. But that gold takes like 2 days to dry. Like you spray it. Still tacky, like 24 hours plus later, put a thumbprint on it, and you're like, put that back over there for another day. I did that, and I also used a metallic red spray from Halford's to do the floors before assembling. And it looks quite good. I'm quite happy with how everything came together. So sprays and then some washes. A lot of inking for the windows because you got to pick out some details. So I picked out all the windows in red.
Yeah,
that took a while. And
that looks like it would have taken ages.
It took a proper evenings of just dotting ink into windows and then wiping off the surface.
Yeah.
But the good that Halford's paint is designed for cars, which is meant to be really robust.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Deal with the elements. So once it was fully cured, like 48 hours or something later, I could put the ink on and then just rub my thumb across the window and it would clean up.
Yeah.
I did quite really like the Games Workshop tiles, and I was going, shall I get those? But when I saw the price, I just couldn't pull the trigger on it. It was just, you're looking at £70 for 6 tiles, and you're going to need like 18, 24 tiles. So you're looking at multiple, like 200, 300 quid's worth to get a full big 6x4 table.
It's just too expensive.
Yeah. And
no way I can do it.
Neoprene companies out there that sell various scale stuff for all the different games. I picked up one which looks quite good. It's called the Imperial Palace. Quite well with the sort of Prospero theme.
From Deep Cut Studios, yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, that looks good. And it's like sort of semi scale agnostic, that's thing.
Yeah. And it's got lots of little squares on it here, there, and everywhere, which if you put down the ruin corners on the corner, you can say, well, that square is being, that's a ruin. So it helps with the amount of boundaries of area terrain.
Yeah, you've got a note saying it's redder than you expected. Now, there's two things. I think one thing is that actually kind of works with your terrain, though. But the other thing is you're the second person I've seen with that issue from Deep Cut.
Oh, really?
Seems like the blue layer's missing or something, but then that might make the map really dark.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows? I don't know enough about that sort of stuff to explain it, but it seems like potentially, because I want to get just a concrete map from them, and I'm now worried, having just seen what you've got, that I'm going to land up with bloody pink concrete, and I don't want that.
So I'm adjusting it, and I got similar to what they have, in their photo, but then I shouldn't have to adjust it. And plus, it looks red when you look at it with your eyes.
Yeah.
In real life, it's not as red as the first few photos that I've I'm presenting. But the slightly red tint does work for a planet that's meant to be on fire, so I'm okay with it. But it kind of blends to the theme that we're doing a good job here, lads.
But you've assembled then, because we did a bit of, the intention here is to have so you've got like buildings with little gardens in and things. The intention is for those to be in spires, and we had a go at this. We had a good go. And I think proof of concept, it does work. And just like what we did was we were attempting to cut clear perspex spires on my laser cutter. Problem is, it turns out the sort of laser cutter I have doesn't cut clear perspex.
So I was on Reddit asking, why is this not working? And they said, well, you've got a couple of issues. One is that the power of your laser is probably not good enough for cutting clear stuff, even if it is slightly coloured. And he said the worst thing as well is that I've chosen blue plastic, and blue lasers will not cut blue.
Right.
Like the wavelength is the same as what it's trying to cut or something.
That makes sense, yeah.
Right. Yeah.
So we spent an evening just cutting holes in the backing board and not understanding why it was making no dent in the perspex.
Yeah.
It's just going all the way
That's
through.
why it's blue. Blue goes
behind
through
it.
Yeah.
Yeah. I didn't realise you had a blue laser, or I could have warned you about that in the first place. I literally teach that in physics at school. So, yeah.
I did find there's companies out there that will cut geometric shapes fairly cheaply. Like you can order them for like £3 a piece for just a regular.
Yeah.
So I've done the math. It'll be about 40 to 60 quid, depending on how many spires I want to put on these things.
Might be worth it though.
I think it'll look fantastic once we actually get them. But that's a problem for next year.
Yeah.
At the point I was like, my terrain set is pretty much ready to go. It'd be the icing on the cake kind of thing to get those done.
Yeah.
But time to move on to the army, I think.
Yeah. The plan is Space Wolves.
Space Wolves, yeah, just so I can do the classic, when you do a campaign and you go, at this scale we do this, and then, we can drop into Age of Darkness, and then from Age of Darkness we can drop into Zone Mortalis. You can choose the scale of the skirmish. But so far I've only built the tanks that came in the set. That's it. Everything else is still on the sprue. I say everything's on the sprue. My sprues were incomplete.
Oh yeah, this is a thing that a lot of people have had, I think, right? Because they're so easy to knock a model off the sprue.
Yeah, so when it came, one of my banner guys from the command squad was missing. So I emailed saying, I've got a missing banner guy. Games Workshop, I thought, would just mail me a new banner guy. They were like, no, take it back to the store you bought it in. And I'm like, well, I've already opened the box and started on it. I've traded half the box out. Any store's not going to be able to swap it in or out easily. I was just like, I emailed them back saying, yeah, I'm not going to do that. That's more hassle, for me and hassle for the third party.
And it's obviously not Dark Sphere who are at fault here.
No, I mean, it's missing in the box. So that means Games Workshop didn't put it in.
Yeah.
I do understand, obviously, that for legal reasons, Dark Sphere are the ones you have a sales contract with Dark Sphere. So legally, I think they are the ones who are responsible, and then they have to go to Games Workshop. But it does seem like an easy public relations win for Games Workshop to just hold their hands up and go, we know there's been shitloads of issues with this.
Yeah.
We'll just fix this for everyone, whether you're a retailer or a customer. We'll just fix this for you. It would just feel like an easy public relations win rather than, legally it's not a problem, sorry.
It had a little sour taste because I'm pretty sure that people who are missing their banners from GW are just getting them mailed out.
Yeah, probably.
They are missing, whereas now I'm going to be one command squad short or one odd.
Yeah. Considering Games Workshop have generally in the past always had a very good reputation for having very good customer service responses. It does feel a bit like...
The only thing I can imagine changing is the scale and the likelihood of it. Like, it's so likely that one little guy will be knocked off of a sprue in each box, or that when it was being packed, one little guy lost. That I wonder if this is the point where they went, yeah, we're going to have to do that with return to manufacturer or return to sales point.
Yeah.
Maybe.
Back of the box, it tells you how many Marines you're getting, so you should get them all. So,
yeah,
it has put a slight dampener on it. I mean, I'm still quite excited to play with tiny Space Marines and stuff, but when you're emailing a company and telling you, go sort this out yourself, we hear about it.
Yeah.
When
Yeah.
it's been pulling things in and out of the box, and that's when banner people have come off and bases have gone missing. And so we've got to take everything out to get bits in and out of the box.
Yeah.
Things have been roughly handled, and then that's my problem and Dark Spheres rather than Games Workshop.
Yeah, and also it's Christmas. You got Christmas presents.
Yeah, so Christmas came. I got squats. I got the 2 new character squats. One of a big sniper weapon and another one of a crazy microwave gun of sorts.
Yeah.
And I got the crawler, the Scalvalan Explorator or something.
The squat one.
Yeah.
Yeah, crazy.
The really cool, the one that looks like a submarine.
Yeah, like a submarine with a big claw on the front. And then my boy also bought me the backdrops by John Hodgson, which are these books of backgrounds, and you hang your mom taking your photos. So yeah, my boy gave them to me. I'm very happy with them. He's happy that I'm having fun with it. I've done pictures of Space Wolf Scouts. I've done a picture with a squat on a jet bike. And me and the boy played around with it with his Legos. Like he had a Spider-Man Lego set up. He had like a new, I can't remember his name, Z-Blob or something, this green sort of. Yeah, we played around with these backdrops. These are great. 2 thumbs up for backdrops.
Yeah, they look good. They look so good that I've already ordered a set.
Get them at Bad Squiddo.
Yeah. Yeah, go to Bad. Everyone should go to Bad Squiddo because Annie's great, and that's where you should buy your backdrop books. Everyone buy their.
Didn't you get them
books.
cheaper at Bad Squiddo than we got them on the Kickstarter as well, or something?
I think if you buy both together, you get a £2 discount.
Brilliant. Okay, so yeah, loads of progress. I've made a different sort of. I haven't done much terrain, so obviously last time we did this, we've been trying out the laser cutter, and I still have a little bit of that epic terrain. So there's an argument that I should make more of that, and then I'll have terrain too. But it looks like if you've all got terrain, I don't need to bother, right? You're all building it.
Yeah, seems that way.
I've had a bit of a weird year, right? Because I haven't built much this year. I haven't done much building since the start of the year because of floods, and then I was away for months and months. So I haven't had a chance to do much. So my Christmas week, which is always a quiet week for me, I have just spent building things, and I have built absolutely tons of stuff. I built a load of White Scar reinforcements because I've been playing the White Scars army all year, and it's been exactly the same army because I haven't added anything to it. So I've got the White Scars reinforcements done. I've built some options for like super heavies. And then I built all the Legions Imperialis this week. So yeah, it's been busy. I'm going to do Solar Auxilia. I'm not bothering with Space Marines. I'm just going to do loads of Solar Auxilia. So I swapped my half with Russ, so I've got double Solar Auxilia. They're going to be painted. I chose a scheme that's yellow and black because that's how I painted Aeronautica. So years ago, me and you, Gary, decided we would definitely get into Aeronautica Imperialis. Bought 2 boxes, swapped them, so I got all the Imperials and you all got all the Orcs, and then I painted all mine, you didn't paint yours, and we never played it.
No, you painted yours, I painted mine.
And then we never played it.
And we just never bothered trying it.
So I got all those out again. It means I've got double Imperialis, and they're all painted in this like yellow and black scheme, which is pretty quick to do and works quite well. And so I thought I'd do all that. So over this week, I have assembled all of the tanks. I bought a set of Bane Blades. So I've got 2 Bane Blades, and I've done 4 Malcadors. There are Liman Russes as well. I've got like 8 Liman Russes or however many, which I'm going to get rid of because screw that. Malcadors are better. I just like Malcadors. Rhombus tanks for the win. So I'm not bothering with Liman Russes. I'm going to swap them with someone. If someone doesn't want Malcadors and does want Liman Russes, I will swap.
I think Russ is also a rhombus, isn't it?
Yeah, but it's the wrong sort of rhombus. So I've done the Malcadors and the Bane Blades assembled and sprayed. So they just need their details done. And then I painted all of the Solar Auxilia. So 4 sprues of little guys. Again, painted them all at once over a couple of nights. They don't take that long. Contrast yellow, contrast black, silver, and a bit of null oil and a few little spot colours. And then I spent an afternoon painting metallic and rusty all of the bases, and then stuck them all down, which is a bit fiddly, but you only have to do it once. So that's hopefully more Solar Auxilia than I need, in terms of infantry. That's all the infantry done. I don't plan to buy any more infantry for this game. And I'm just going to play with what I've got and buy tanks. So all my infantry for the game are now done. The next step is to do the tanks. I also this week assembled and airbrushed and did the weathering on 3 Titans. Gary, last time you gave me, in a swap for some Hill Team terrain, you gave me a Reaver and Warlord. The Warlord I'm going to switch for something else because I don't like him. But I've assembled the Reaver and the 2 Warhounds from the box and started doing all their armor plates. So I reckon in the next couple of weeks I'll have the tanks and the Reaver and Warhounds done, and I'll have a playable army. And no terrain at all, apart from a couple of wooden buildings I built with last week.
Awesome.
That's good, yeah. So from my point of view, I'm pretty good. I also got Warhammer vouchers for Christmas because, my family know what to buy me. And I spent them on paints and bases, some Sector Imperialis bases, so that I could do these new white scars I've added. I've been painting some other models that I cannot talk about, which has taken up a bit of time, and I will reveal next episode. But basically, I've had a really productive week of nerdy hobbying, doing all the weird stuff, and it's been really fun. So that's me, and I'm pretty close to having a playable army. Other people have been building Legions Imperialis as well. Also, I keep saying Legiones Imperialis, and it's Legions Imperialis.
Just Legions,
Epic. Other people have been building Epic too, so we've actually got some community updates, which we haven't done for a while, which is nice. Only a few, but if you want to get involved, as we said, there's a Patreon attached to this. The Patreon will give you certain Patreon tiers, give you access to Discord, and we run various threads on the Discord for updates every month. And that will go on for Old World as well. So we'll have Legions Imperialis and Old World running concurrently for the next few months until we're all bored of it, and then we can pick something else in the middle of the year. So Simon is first up. Plan is to have Solar Auxiliary as the main force with Dark Angels as support. Once I add 10 more Malcadors, he says, he'll have an armoured Tercio. Evidently going the same route as me, which is as many Malcadors as possible, please. But that's a huge amount of stuff painted. Look at that. That's 2 main blades, 9 Limamorous. No, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13 Limamorous and 2 Malcadors. That's huge. And then some Dark Angels alongside it. Loads going there.
Really good.
He's an insane person.
Are Malcadors like the pyro unit of the Imperial Guard, or?
I'm not sure, really. From what
I've heard, they're not very good.
Oh.
Anything you can put a Vanquisher battle cannon on is pretty good.
Yeah, although Malcadors do look quite silly with Vanquisher battle cannons, so I've only put them on half of mine. I've put the normal cannons on the other ones. There's a load of Malcadors coming in. That looks really, really good. Huge amount done. Tons done. Jeannie has been picking up some bits and bobs, starting with Auxilia after New Year, and we'll start with Limamoroses and Malcadors and Baneblades. And has started in the meantime assembling one of the Warhounds, which are going to be white, cream, and purple. And you can see the masking tape there, which is also what I've been doing all week. Attaching masking tape to Warhounds.
Keep the panels separate when you're painting it so that the whole substructure gets done grey.
Yeah. Oh, well, that's what I've done. Yeah, I've kept the panels on sprue and just assembled the robots, painted all the robots silver, and then did all the rusty sprays and colours, and then just kept the panels on sprue so they're a different colour.
Yeah.
It seems like it's going to be the only sensible way of doing it.
Yes, I think it is. Matt says, sorry for the barrier. Matt is also struggling to take army photos at this scale, which I think is going to be a general problem. Few details to go back on over the vehicles, but they're looking really good. The flyers are the Voss pattern Lightnings, aren't they? The current Lightnings from Aeronautica. Yeah.
They're really nice.
They're really lovely, those, aren't they?
Do you think that's oil washes or some other sort of?
I don't know. It's very nicely done.
It looks really nice, however it's been done.
They also look really nice, like hovering in profile over the view from the front, hovering over the army there. They look quite cool.
Yeah.
So some more Solar Auxiliary going on there, and then Will has just started. He's started doing basing. and then painted up one little stand. He has done the snippy into rows method of painting the models. I just kept them all on the sprue without any changes, but I think, yeah, Bobbie, you've been doing yours like this as well, right? Where you cut each row
doing
off.
that. That's what I've been doing.
Yeah, trimming the sprue away. Just it lets you, especially if you're doing things like painting markings on shoulder pads.
Yeah.
It lets you get in. Otherwise, you got the sprue in the way, and you're trying to paint around the sprue, which is awkward.
So they've been doing Ultramarines, and one stand is done. Literally one stand. There it is, standing on some terrain. One stand done.
Will has painted the upside down Omega symbol on one of those Ultramarines. Yeah. I don't know if he's done it on the other shoulder pads that we can't even see, but I feel like trying to paint that symbol at that scale is bordering on insanity, isn't it?
Well, for hundreds of little models.
Will has definitely posted some more updates since these, and yeah, it does seem to be doing the job of painting the tiny little U's on all the Ultramarines.
That's insane.
He's also painted the eye lenses, so he's gone into that category.
Oh my god!
Yeah,
Jesus Christ! Yeah,
he's trying too hard.
Detail on the backpacks and everything. Yeah, Jesus. Right. And then David has been powering through Solar Auxilia. I like the basis for this, the sort of Martian base. And I like the very colourful. The very colourful Marauder's quite nice as well.
Yeah.
I didn't scroll down to that.
Yeah.
I think the blue and the blue models on the red bases works very well. It's sort of, I think that's really important. Like the Ultramarines there stand out against that grey base. But I think the blue against the red there really works really, really good because you can actually see what he's done with the blue and the silver.
Yeah. So
it doesn't just blur into the background.
I think for Imperialis, it's even more important because you need to be able to read the models.
Yeah.
And they are so tiny compared to 40k, where it's a little easier to say, oh, yeah, you can look at the model and go, oh, that's a space marine with a plasma gun.
Yeah.
You really need to have that extra hint of contrast for the small scale. It does seem like everyone seems to be doing it quite naturally, which obviously we've just got excellent painters on the Discord. All know their colour theory.
Well, similar because the last one we have is Jack and their Iron Warriors, and they've also gone for red bases to pop against the yellow and silver.
Yeah.
It's a really good start to a little Iron Warriors.
But once again, though, it's like a mid tone versus a darker tone. So again, they stand out really clearly, don't they?
Yeah. All looking really good. So yes, brilliant. A good start. That's all we've got for community updates, but a good start to the community updates. Very good choices there. If you want to join in, the Patreon thing's below, and we'll get a good community gang of tiny tank builders going over the next few months. But yeah, otherwise, that's our January update. Thanks, everybody. Lovely to see everyone again. We're going to do this once a month as we go through the year. And we'll be doing this alongside Old World for the next few months. And then maybe we'll pick a game after that. But yeah, lovely to see you all. Everyone's powering through. We'll see if we can keep up the momentum, I suppose, in the new year. Until next month, then, we will see you next time. Thanks, everyone.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye.